Alright guys, I am back. I know it's been a long break for me, but my wife just had a baby 2 weeks ago now, so a couple weeks leading up to and a couple weeks after I've just been getting her ready and taking care of the baby. Things are starting to calm down and get back to normal, so I've been out in the shop a lot lately doing some shop improvements and getting caught up on all the work that I've been behind on. I just finished making 4 new muzzle brakes and machining out 2 barrels, putting the threads in for the brake that the customer wanted. So now that that stuff is pretty much done, I'm just finishing up the last little touches on those. I'm going to get back to machining. So this video is going to be a mixed up bag of goodies. I'm going to go over some tooling that I got from it's actually all stuff from my grandfather that was handed down to my uncle when my grandfather passed. My uncle never really used it, so he gave it all to me with the Craftsman lathe and the closing milling machine. So let me bring you guys in and I'll show you some of the end mills that I got. Alright, so adjust this here so I can actually see what I'm showing you guys. So the first thing I thought I would show you guys is all these Woodruff key cutters that I got. These are all from my grandfather. This one is a 1 1/4 by 5/16. That's, I think, the biggest one I have. And then the next one is 1 1/4 by 3/16. And then I've got I can't even read that. It looks like it was misstamped and then ground out and restamped underneath. It looks like 3/4 5/32. And this one is 1/2 inch 1/8. And then this one is 1/2 inch 3/32. This is the only one I've ever actually used, and the only reason I use this is because I meant to grab this one, and I grabbed this one instead. They're the same diameter, but one is the 1/8 and one is the 3/32. So I ended up just adjusting it up and making another small cut to get it to work. It wasn't anything really critical, but we are our own worst enemies, so it's frustrating at times. And the other thing that I wanted to show you guys was all of the end mills that are in the stuff that I got. I think these are all the same. And here, these are 3/8 double end mills. They're all high speed. Most of these that are still in the sleeves are brand spanking new, and they're all Cleveland twist drill company. Some of them just have Cleveland, some of them actually say the Cleveland Twist Drill Company. So I've got a bunch of those. I've got a handful as I'm throwing them around. Actually, these are all the same size, I think. Yeah, some of them are 2 flute, some of them are 4 flute. And then I got this homemade stainless steel tray, and it's full of the same thing. Some of these 3/8 quarter. Some of these I'm thinking newer because my grandfather died in 1982, and I know that he wasn't machining a whole lot towards the end, and some of these are coated, so I'm thinking that some of them are a lot newer because I don't think they were coating stuff with the aluminum tin coating back in the 1950s, but I could be wrong. But in here there is all kinds of craziness. There are end mills that my grandfather cut apart, didn't want a two double-sided, he wanted a single end mill, so he just ground it off. Some of them have definitely been resharpened a time or two, because I think this one started out as a 1/2 inch and it is quite a bit under that now. It's definitely under 7/16, and it looks like these are all grinds that he did himself probably. You can see the little bit of unsteady hand here and there in some of the spots, but another woodruff cutter. This is a 3/4 quarter. This one is all chewed up. The sides are, 2 blades are completely broken off. I think that's probably why it's in here, because it's one that I didn't want to mistakenly grab and use. But and there's just a hodgepodge of different types of end mills and sizes. The one size that I really needed was 1/2 inch, but almost every single one of the 1/2 inch end mills is either completely chipped, broken, cut, or just so worn that it's not even worth using. There's so much chatter, you know, the machine vibrates all over the place. Here's one of the ones I was talking about that's coated. It's a 1/4, and this is a Cleveland, and it's got some kind of a coating. It doesn't look like black oxide. I don't know how much the camera is showing, but it's a little bit funky. And then the other thing I wanted to show you guys was what my father gave me before he moved away to Idaho. Was a set of telescoping gauges, and these are both sides move. I've never really used anything else, so I don't know what's better or what's worse, but I like these. I use them a lot, and they're phenomenal. The calipers that I use are a set of Starrett number 721 digital calipers, and these are extremely accurate calipers. I called up Starrett. I was having an issue with them, and Starrett told me to replace this with the current new one would be about $400. And my dad gave these to me. This is going away gift to help my business out a little bit. And I've used these things, and I've checked the diameter stuff with these, and then used the micrometer, and it's within 1/1000th every time. Last time I did a side-by-side comparison, I mic'd it and then hit it with the calipers, and it was the 10,000ths reading was accurate on these. So I love Starrett. Don't get a whole lot of Starrett stuff because I don't have the money to do it right now, trying to get the business up and running. This is the only Starrett thing that I myself have ever purchased, and it is one thing that I did not have, and all the stuff that I received from family members, and it is my little tiny 6-inch machinist level, which is awesome. I never really realized how inaccurate carpentry levels were until I got one of these things. It is absolutely amazing. This is what, you know, it's still in the original paper, in the original box. I've only had it for a few months now. And I used it, I'm not sure if I actually used it in any of the videos. I don't think I had it yet when I was doing my leveling, but and then I also wanted to show you guys, these are the end mills that I use most frequently, my little itty bitty break-easies, as Adam Booth calls them. And these are carbide end mills. They're the 1/8 ball 4-flute end mills, and these I got from somebody on eBay who had a company. I cannot recall it off the top of my head right now, but I had ordered these 3 to try them out and see how they worked, and they worked really, really well. They cut very cleanly, very smoothly. So I sent him an email and I said, hey, I'm looking to get some more. You know, what kind of deal can you make me? And the guy emailed me back and said, well, how many do you want? And I said, well, I use them a lot. I break a couple. Yeah, I've broken a couple. Haven't broken any of these, but I'm worried that if I do, I don't want to have to stop and wait to order more. So can I get like 15 or 20? And he sent me an email back and he said, how does 20 for $20 sound? So I jumped on it. I got 20 solid carbide ball nose end mills. And granted, they're tiny 1/8, but I got a whole bundle of them for $20, which was a deal I could not pass up. And I really wish I could find his information, because he said he could do any size I needed, and his prices are really hard to beat. Alright, so let's get to it. This is the screwed up mandrel that I crashed my tool post into when I was machining on the lathe. So I had to start over. So I am going to show you guys how I cut the wrench slots on my muzzle brakes. This is a brand new carbide end mill that I picked up from Kodiak Machine Tools, and I'm just going to touch off. This diameter here is 0.8650. I'm going to make it to a 3/4 inch wrench, so I need to take off about 57 thousandths from each side, which will give me clearance. So I'm just going to come up and touch off right now. Touching off right there. And what I've always done before, I think in my other video, I did like 10 thousandths per side, and then I did a 5 thousandths finishing cut. But with this carbide end mill, I can actually take the depth cut that I actually need without having to worry about chatter or anything else like that. So, clear out here. Go up to my height. You can see it cuts a just beautiful finish. I've never really had a chance to use new, nice end mills before. Everything I have is like 50 years old, and some of it is in dire needs of replacement and resharpening. For the test fit, a 3/4 inch wrench, and it's got just a little bit of play in there, which everything I do I paint, and it adds a couple thousandths to each side, so that little tiny bit of movement isn't going to be enough to affect it. It'll be a nice good fit when I finish the part out. And let me see if I can bring you in a little closer here without knocking everything over in my garage. And a little focus. There we go. I mean, it is just like glass compared to what I was getting before. So I'm happy. And this end mill, solid carbide end mill, this was in 7/16. I got a 7/16 and a half inch so far. They were $24 each, and I've used this to make 5 or 6 brakes already and haven't had any issues with it whatsoever. This is the other thing I wanted to show you guys that I had been working on. This is my little tool rack here for all my tool holders. The tool holder that came with the Smithy, the same size that I bought for my little Craftsman, so I have a bunch of extras, which is really, really nice. And I decided I was going to make a little rack because I see Tom Lipton, Ox Tool Company, he has something like this. And I thought, hey, I could do that. And I decided, hey, I'm just going to TIG weld the whole thing out because I need some practice TIG welding out of position, which I still need a lot of practice welding. It's not too atrocious, if I can get to focus, but there's definitely some room for improvement. But these are all angled off. I tried to get them as close to perfect as I could. Move the camera. You see, I was pretty happy with how it turned out as I drop the camera here. They stay on pretty well, and they are, you know, all these are obviously steel, but it's a very loose fit. I didn't think it'd be too much wear. When I put them on, I set the top on and then the bottom just rocks down. That way I'm not sliding it up and down, it's just I can set it there and lift it off if I need it. And the weight of the tool holder holds them down pretty solid. And I made it quite a bit longer than I needed it to be for just the tool holders, because I wanted a rack here, which I haven't finished yet, that I'm going to mount my chuck key and stuff like that to, or have spots to mount it, or hooks or whatever, which I have a bad habit of leaving my chuck key in the lathe. Thankfully I've never turned it on, but it's a bad habit of mine. So I invested in this dummy-proof one that I can't leave in. So now, instead of leaving the chuck key in all the time, I end up shooting it across the garage because this spring is pretty good, got a pretty good amount of tension on it. So I have a bad habit of twisting, locking, letting go, and it shooting back behind me. But I know I will never turn it on with a chuck key in, ever. So it's worth it for me. Alright, I think that's pretty much it. The other shop improvements I've been doing have just been, honestly, getting the garage. And that's really, really weird here. Let's see. Getting the garage cleaned up. So I've been sweeping and knocking stuff down, getting spider webs out, and trying to get stuff more organized in a manner where I can actually find it. Next video I make, I think I'm going to go through my grandfather's old toolbox. It's got a ton of stuff, a bunch of stuff that I don't know what it is, stuff that he made. Some of the stuff I've kind of guesstimated what it was, but not really sure. So it's going to be a machinist toolbox review, and I'd ask for help because I don't know what all that stuff is, and it would be awesome if some of you guys could chime in and tell me what I even have, because like I said, I really have no clue. So hopefully you guys enjoyed the video. Let me get back on the screen here, and I'll try to get videos posted a little more frequently now that things are a little bit more stable with my first boy, Michael number 3. So I'll probably throw a picture or two of him up at the end of the video too. If you don't like it, too bad. Alright, so one thing I totally forgot about when I was making this video until I started to upload all the videos onto my computer is the spider nut series. I was going to make 2 videos showing how I made the spider nut. Unfortunately, my wife went into labor as I was doing the second spider nut, and I kind of deleted the videos to take videos of the baby and stuff. So I finished them and I wanted to show you guys them real quick. So let me turn this around here so that I can see. Now I made 2 spiders. I made an outbound spider that I can chuck up in my 3-jaw, and then I have the other spider on the back side. And it is a little bit longer than I really wanted it to be, but it still clears the door all right, and it so far hasn't been an issue for it being longer. If I really need to, I can always cut it down and then put holes a little bit closer, but I mean, that's only going to save me a ½ an inch at the most. And this smithy, it doesn't really have a real long spindle, so it works out pretty well the way it is. I also got, I move my tripod, and you can see my garage is quickly filling back up with stuff, even though I've been cleaning it non-stop. But of course, let's see, there we go. I got a 4-jaw finally for my smithy. So I don't really need this one all that much anymore. If I'm doing something little, I might use it, but I kind of just did it because I wanted to have both, and I wasn't sure if I was going to spend the money on the 4-jaw, but I ended up finding that one is the D14 spindle for $160, so I couldn't really pass it up. So, like I said, I apologize for not getting the video done. Well, I got it done. I made the video, but I accidentally deleted it, so none of you guys will ever get to see it. But I do have a 5-foot section of the 2-inch round bar that I will be cutting up into small little pieces and making spider nuts for smithies. Or if any of you guys need a spider nut for something that needs to be made out of 2-inch round bar, hit me up on the messages and we can work something out. So this is actually the end of the video. Hope you guys have a nice night or day or whenever you're watching this.